What's up, demons and demonettes? Tis I, Traxy, Demon Queen, and today I wanted to bring you an updated Shellbrute guide. But before we get into it, as always, toss a like and subscribe down below. Alright, so we got a couple things to cover today, 3 things in particular. 1, we do have a meta update. 2, I'll cover talent trees. And 3, I want to talk about the power breakpoint that we've seen on previous Primal Lords that, well, you'll see what happens here. Anyway, let's talk about the new meta. The new meta does use done. Now, in my testing, I couldn't get him to work, but I had him in the wrong spot. Somebody else got him in the right spot and with the right artifact, and it's fantastic. Now, if you don't have done, you can still run the Seth comp. There's just going to be a slight change here. You're going to run a Greatsword instead of a Resonator. I did this on my second account, and it's going to give you a few 100 million more damage. So if you're in that close race and you need that a little extra edge, you want to run a Greatsword over Resonator. Now, I'll just cover real quick the formation here. As you can see, it's Mikola, Smokey, Shakir, Real Freyasto, Illusion Freyasto, and then Seth to the side. If your Kruger is built up more than your Seth, you could run Kruger instead of Seth. I tried other substitutes. They just don't work, right? Nara doesn't work. Vala not gonna work. Korin doesn't work. I literally tried a ton of different melee heroes just to see what would happen, and it just didn't work. So we'll just stick with either your Kruger or your Seth if you have them, whichever one's built up. If Seth, I think, is built up a little bit more or a little bit less, so if they're about even, but if, like, say you have like a Supreme plus 10 Kruger and you only have like a legendary Seth, run your Kruger, right? Or you could just run them both with one of your runs just to see who does better for you, and then just run the better of the two throughout the remaining of the event. Now, we are down below 40%, so we probably have about 3, maybe 4 more days of this guy still being up. It seems to be taking a little extra while to die. Maybe they changed the scripting so he doesn't die on day 10, but we will see how it goes here. But let's cover the Dunlinger comp. Alright, so as you can see, we're gonna run Greatsword, I said. Freyasto does the most damage, so so you're gonna give your most level slots to Freyasto, followed by Smokey, then Shakir, Mikola, and last Dun. Dun's gonna get eaten by the clam, so he's gonna spend most of his time inside. Mikola, she's gonna spend a little bit of time inside. So let's check out the formation here, right? So as you can see, we're running a Greatsword. We have a Real Freyasto, then Illusion Freyasto, Shakir, Dun. Now the problem is I had Dun over here. I tried putting Shakir over here. That didn't work. I tried, I think, something with Dun, and somehow Mikola got the buff instead of Freyasto, and I had just given up at that point. But somebody else got it to work, so hey, I love it. And like I said, Mikola over here to the side. So it's very similar to the other formation. The only difference is we're putting Dun in this spot, where normally we would have Kruger or Seth in this spot. And without further ado, let's see it in action. Alright, so there is his bell, but his bell gets interrupted. Once he gets eaten. And so as you can see, it doesn't really get renewed, and he's spending all of his time inside the clam. As you can see, Freyasto gets the buff from Dun, so that's increased attack percentage and increased haste. So you want to make sure, if you are running your Dun, that he is at least plus 15. And see, Mikola goes out. She gets eaten. But like I said, Dun spends almost all of his time inside. And he comes out, like, at the very tad end.
Let's savor this as though it's real.
Alright, so let's talk about talents next. Now, you may have a rough time if you're trying to push stages and do the boss what I tried to do is double up. If you have your respecs, now is a good time to like balance out these tickets with using the normal free respecs that we get every 3 days now. You definitely want to go heavy on Mauler for this boss, right? At the point where I'm at, I have stage 2 unlocked for everybody at max points, right? So then we're just gonna kind of you want to make sure you go down this side, right? Because we want to grab this damage here. And then we want to go down to just here. We can leave off these couple ones. Then we can just pick up a couple of the talents here. From Celestial Hypogeans, Wilders, and again, the same thing with Lightbearer. That should at least allow us to push a little bit, maybe do towers a little bit without sacrificing too much. But you're basically, you want to get down to stage 4. Now you want to go down the right side here first. So this is where you want to go first because you want to get this, which gives you the extra damage. And then we go down the left side here because we want the energy on hit. This doesn't really do much. Then we want the extra energy on hit. And then we want this one here. This is the big one. Now, you can dump up to 10 levels worth of reds in here. I will say that it does increase in cost for each level. I think it starts out at like 70 for the first one, and then it continuously goes up like 20 more each time. Something like that. But that'll definitely, right, so we're definitely after this attack percentage increase. That'll allow us to do more damage to the boss, so getting higher Reser level and pushing stages is key. The one thing I had to do is for some of the more difficult stages, like Talent Stage 1062, a 1089, I think 1072, right, we needed to go heavy into Lightbearer and Celestial Hypogean. So what I did was I respected those, and then I held that for a day. So I basically, in between 2 resets, I tried to do everything, and then I reset my talents right before. So you could, in theory, what you can do is you can run your Primal Lord parses first thing in the day, do your reset for talent stage pushing, push your stages, go through that reset, go right up to maybe like an hour before the next reset, then reset your talents, then do the Primal Lord, and you could do back to back, go back to stage pushing if you need to. I'm at the point where I'm kind of holding on stage pushing because I'm waiting for Luca to come out to test him. But that's one strategy that you could do with your talent points to maximize your stage pushing and to maximize your talents for the boss. I think for the rest of the event, I'm just going to leave it as is unless I really get stuck on the talent stages again, and I do need to respec, but I do have the tickets. I do have, you do get the free one every 3 days, so that is worth mentioning. Alright, so the last thing I wanted to talk about was scaling on the boss. So, if you noticed on, like, Crystal Beetle, I think Alpha Bear, there was a breakpoint, right? And so, like, on Crystal Beetle, I think it was somewhere in the 400s, there was a breakpoint where up to a certain point, you would peak. So, say you peaked at 43 billion damage, right? At, say, a Rezo level 440, but as soon as you went over 440, the shield reflect became so strong that it just wiped your party, right? So then you took like a huge dip down, and then you dip down, and then you would slowly creep back up because now you would have to do all of your damage before, so it took me to like the last day, I think, to get the top part, my top parse on Crystal Beetle. Now, on Flight Creeper, there was a hidden breakpoint of where if you killed the ads too fast, you didn't have enough uptime on the ads and boss to maximize your overall damage because there was too much downtime in between phases, and that became an issue. I will say, with Shellbrute, go crazy. I haven't seen a breakpoint yet. I don't see there being a breakpoint. Why? Because there's no reflect mechanic. There's no break into ads mechanic. So there's no really mechanic that's counterintuitive on this boss. It's just get as strong as powerful and hit the boss as hard as possible as you can. So that's good news. So as you could see, because every day my score's been creeping up, except for those days where I was doing testing, and it may have been really low, right? When I tested Burial, it dropped off into Oblivion. When I tested Sylvina, it wasn't so great. I don't remember if I tested Sinbad. It was awful. So yeah, we just, it's consistently, when I haven't been testing new comps, it's consistently been going up, 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 up. So you definitely want to hit it towards the end of reset. The only thing to be careful of is when we do get down to like that 3% range, because then he usually goes pretty quick. So when you see him at like anywhere below, I would say like 5%, hit him as quick as possible, that reset, just so you can get your hits in, you can get your XP, and you can try to get that last minute parse before he does die, so that you can get number 1, or so that you can make the top rankings if that's what you're after, right? Obviously I'm after number 1, but a lot of people are just going to be chasing top 20 or top 50, right? Because they want to be on the inscription, or they want to get the maximum rewards, where in my case, the goal of this account is to be number 1, and we certainly don't want to be number 4 again. I don't know what that trash was on Plague Creeper, but like I said, we were too strong and counterintuitive to the game mechanics, which sucks, but it is what it is. I don't know if there'll be another meta update. I don't foresee it. There hasn't been a lot of change on this boss, right? It's kind of been the Mauler one throughout, and even here, we're just subbing in Dunlinger for Seth or Kruger, and it's doing more damage. Now, I know there's a Graveborn one that's out there that's a little bit better if you don't have a highly invested Mauler team. I have the highly invested Mauler team, so that's all I've really been focused on running for me. And that's it for this one. If you have any comments, questions, feel free to toss them down below, and I will catch you later. Bye!